Hier ist London, das ist die Tottenham Court Road und hier in einem ziemlich unscheinbaren kleinen Büro, da treffe ich gleich Joey und Howie von New Kids on the Block und Backstreet Boys zum Interview. Und ich habe eure Fragen dabei und die werde ich denen jetzt stellen, den Jungs. Also, auf geht's. Hier ist Ola mit Kai Belo und New Kids on the Block und Backstreet Boys sind hier. Howie and Joey, nice to meet you. Thanks that you have the time for an interview today.
Thanks for coming.
And you're coming to Oberhausen soon. We talk about that in a bit. The first question, and I'm sure you've been asked it 100 times. Why? Why together?
Tell Joe why.
Ain't nothing but a nice tour.
Tell me why.
You're not gonna want a thing more.
Tell me why.
When you see this show, you're gonna freak.
'Cause it's NKOTBSB.
BSB. Wow, that's right on the spot there.
That was it. Boy.
Oh, that's why they together now as a group. Thanks for that. Well, back then, were you competitors, or were you NKOTB was a bit earlier than Backstreet Boys?
By the time we wrapped up our first stint, these guys were just starting out, so it wasn't head-to-head battle. You know, they were doing their thing, and you know, there's lots of different similarities, and you know, there's been boy bands throughout history, and we all get influenced by each other, but you know, both bands had their own paths and own experiences.
So, but when you say one of your groups was more successful,
Oh yeah, well that's obvious. New
What's
kids. You know, just across the board. You
well,
know.
actually, I checked our system on the radio in the studio,
Yeah.
how many songs we've got from Backstreet Boys and how many songs we've got from New Kids on the Block. Guess who won?
Those guys.
New Kids.
No.
Wikipedia would say what?
Yeah, you guys.
We had one song from New Kids on the Block.
That's right.
One.
One and a couple Christmas songs, but they don't count.
Oh, they don't count? Christmas, you don't believe in...
You guys don't count.
You don't
We
believe
can
in
only play them for
Christmas?
4 weeks, so.
Oh, okay.
That's because Backstreet Boys have been going pretty much non-stop without taking a break, which these guys had the luxury of taking a break.
No, I
to regain some time.
think they got great music. I mean, in retrospect, you know, looking back on our songs, you know, we had a bunch of #1 records and top 10 hits. They didn't cross over as much. I think, you know, the Backstreet Boys benefited from, you know, having lots of different different producers work on their stuff, you know, and musically they had sort of like the world open to them. We had one producer at the time, and it was fun and it was great, but they had the benefit of working with, you know, great producers. So I think their music was just overall I don't know if I have to say better, but yeah, better and more it crossed over, you know what I mean? It wasn't just young music. It was adult contemporary. It had a wider audience, even though they had such a huge young following. Their music sort of transcended that, whereas we didn't really have that experience.
Because they were the first, you know, and you guys were experimenting. There was like a whole new record labels were, you know, just learning with these guys.
Right,
By the time
right.
it came around for us, you know, they had, you know, with our first record. First of all, the record label probably spent about 3 years before our first record even came out.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to make sure, you know, everything, all the T's were crossed, all the I's were dotted, and you know there was no trying to make it as flawless as possible. So then what happens is that once we set that standard, then each record after that we had to keep on, you know, topping it, and you know these guys here with working, like you said, with one producer, and you know being the first ones out there, you're the first child to, you know, experiment and just kind of, you know, not have the knowledge exactly maybe to what works and what doesn't work per se.
You had a couple years of a break, and how much effort do you have to put into like learning to sing again? Was it hard to go back?
No, because I mean, I've done a lot of things in between New Kids. So, you know, I've been on Broadway and, you know, TV and movies and music. So, you know, I might not have been playing stadiums or arenas, but, you know, being a performer is what I do. So it was not at all hard to, get back in and do it. I mean, as far as getting back with a group, those are the challenges of getting back in and sharing the responsibilities and cooperating with 4 other guys and finding a goal and getting on the same page as adults. Those are the big challenges of something like this. And but the other stuff, that's what I love to do. So
Actually, I was thinking, now that you're such a huge group, how do you find the time to actually do things together, go in the studio and to organize it? When I want to meet with my friends, if it's only 2, it's hard to find a date.
Definitely takes a lot of effort. When this was the ideas were being put together, and we had a lot of obstacles to work around. 2 groups. I mean, even within one group, like you say, I mean that's a lot to just put all those schedules together. Put 2 groups together and people working on TV shows and individual stuff and groups finishing up tours and other stuff that's already on the schedule. It definitely was a challenge, but we were lucky enough to have 2 groups of management and people that work around us that were able to coordinate it all together. I think that's why it's taken the time that it has taken. Even from the last US leg to coming here, there was a lot of things that were going on in between the time schedules with both groups. But I think if something's worth waiting for, it'll happen, and when it's meant to happen, just like our record that we did. At first we wanted to put a whole record. We always talked about doing like a record from top 8, first song to 12 songs being all of us, but that would have been probably something we'd have to still be working on now today, 2 years later. Yeah. We were able to accomplish a greatest hits record, which we allowed both of our fan bases to pick 5 songs each, and then we did 2 new songs, and that was fun. I mean, it was definitely. Even just the first song, getting all of us into the studio was a little bit challenging, just trying to get all of our schedules, and also the idea of how to put 9 voices on one record, which is sometimes hard, just putting 2 or 3, 4 voices on. But we were lucky enough had an amazing producer, 2 producers, Red One and E-Man, that we've both worked with in the past. That at least thank God knew our voices and already could see the vision, and but. We were able to, amongst all the craziness and schedules, we were able to accomplish making the record and accomplish putting this tour together. And some of the stuff did come together last minute, but always great ideas, I think, will, find their ways to work out, and, the cream rises to the top.
Now, let's talk about your tour. You've been to Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, and now you're coming to the famous city of Oberhausen in May 10th, that is. And yay! How much do you know about Oberhausen?
I can't say I know a ton about that city, but we're excited to bring it over here. I mean, we both groups have a big history in Europe, and bringing it over here is really important to us, and we're just excited about the opportunity, and we have fans. I mean, they've been touring for a long time. They still have a connection with their fans, and the new kids came over here in 2009, so we know how it's gonna be, but we have a good idea that it's gonna be a great party, and we're excited to give them the show.
Yeah. So you're gonna sing Step by Step?
We got all the hits, and the thing is, we work together, but we don't mess with the hits. New Kids sing their hits, Backstreet sings their hits, and then we come together for certain parts of the show. So you get the best of both worlds.
Is it difficult having so many on the stage at the same time and learn a performance?
I mean, the stage is quite big. We had some creative minds put together a great stage that is able to handle all 9 of us pretty much almost anywhere on the stage. The main stage we open up the show with, and then at one point we spread across the opposite ends of the stages, and then we work the middle of the stage. So it's with great choreographers and a great team of people, and we're able to. I think we put a great show together.
Is there any special effects involved that tell what's going to happen? Fireworks?
Well, yeah, we got all that stuff. We got pyro. We got it's really, we have lifts and all that stuff, but it's really the most important part of a show, I think, is our energy and how we present the songs and the feeling and how we communicate that music to the audience. I mean, lots of times you go to see shows and they have these incredible sets and they spend so much money in the tricks and the surprises, but what really makes or breaks a show is how those songs are sung and how the performers connect to the audience, and I think all 9 of us are really good at making that connection to the audience.
It reminds me of The Voice, the casting show, where it's all about the voice and not about the special effects or whatever is. You just talked about energy. How much energy do you have nowadays? I mean, it's been like a couple of years when you started, and now you're older. Can you still jump around as much as you used to?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're moving just as much as any shows that we've done in the past 20 years. Our energy. As we're getting older, we're learning how to deal with the different levels of energy and conserving it for this stage. And some people, each of us have our own ways of dealing with that. Some of us have energy that they save up for the stage, and when they're done with the stage, they need to other people have a little too much excess energy and need to get out there and let off some steam and then come back to recharge. But it's all about, I think, as we're getting older, knowing our boundaries and having a good balance.
What about your audience? Have they changed or grown up with you?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, part of this whole thing coming together, I think, is it's timing. Our fans have grown up. They have families and lives and careers of their own, and so they can look back at their youth when they were younger and embrace those moments. They don't push it away anymore. They embrace it, and it gives them warm feelings. And at the same time, we're still all young. Our fans are still young. We're young, and we can have a good time. It feels current. It feels fresh. So it's the perfect combination. It's a very unique situation that you don't get from, I think, other bands you see out there that have been away been out there for a long time. This just seems like we get the best of everything.
How much time do you actually spend in a city where you perform? Do you get to the arena like an hour before the show, like I do for the radio show, or and it's probably a bit more?
I mean, it just depends on what the schedule's like. In the States, we were able to probably average 3 to 5 shows a week. 4 to 5 shows a week, with a couple of days off, and you try to enjoy those days off in the different cities that you're fortunate enough to have it. And if not, you make the best of where you are, and there's some of us that will, as soon as we get to the venue, get out and start, exploring the city and have, and doing things. There's some of us that once they get into the venue, they stay out in their bus or they stay at their hotel room, and it's it's right before you get to the venue. But normally we try to all of us get to the venue at least an hour or two, a couple hours before the show to at least be able to eat dinner and be able to digest your food, warm up a little bit, get ready for the show, and get yourself mentally prepared for it.
And we have a great food court near the arena. Okay, I've got a few questions from Facebook fans. Sylvie wants to know: does Joey have any plans to go on a solo tour in Europe?
Not at the moment, no. I'm going to take care of these 20-something dates with this nice big tour, and I love doing my own thing, as we all do, but luckily I think we all have moments within this show, to really get your thing on, and so yeah. But thanks for the question, but no plans. Sorry.
Jenny, please organize a meet and greet in Oberhausen. Jenny, we will work that out later. And also, does Nick Carter has any solo plan tours in Germany? Would you know?
Not that I know of. Right
as
now,
busy as Joey.
Yeah, right now Nick just got off a U.S. Solo tour, and I think he did some promotion over there last year, if I recall correctly. But no, Nick's going to be getting ready for the next NKOTBSB tour.
He's not allowed to tour solo yet.
All right. Okay, guys, thanks so much for the interview. I hope you have a great concert in Oberhausen and wherever else you're going. And that was it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Boys.